Boaters, this is Pauly from All Docked Up. Thursday night podcast night, and never do a podcast without my main man, Captain Buzz. Buzzword, what are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Pauly? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I ain't doing too shabby. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty excited about our special guest speaker that I'm going to drop a bomb on. It's going to be awesome.
I'm very excited.
I'm still a little fat from Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody, as well.
Oh, thank you. And if we want to get right into our Boaters Bites, that's what I was going to cover on our Boaters Bites.
Well, I never discourage talking about food.
well, I was, I've got a little bit of skill when it comes to working in the kitchen. So I had a lot of people over for Thanksgiving dinner, and I was in the kitchen for a few hours. But I had all the trimming, the turkey and the dressing, and I make a cornbread stuffing with sausage, delicious.
Oh my God!
We had spaghetti squash and fresh spinach and mashed potatoes and all the trimmings. But I also, since I got the smoker, I took a turkey breast and I brined it overnight with some fresh rosemary, salt and pepper, and put it in the smoker with some mesquite bricks. I want to tell you what, it was a big hit, or a really big hit. It took about 6-7 hours, but it came out wonderful. It's a do-over. It is a do-over.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Oh, I'm getting hungry now talking about food. This is the problem with me.
That really came out good. So before I get into the captain's briefing, what's your detailer's briefing for this evening?
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm going to have you do your captain's briefing first. And the reason because my detailing briefing is going to segue right into our special guest tonight, which is a master professional in the canvas industry, 30 plus years experience. It's going to be awesome. So
Roger that. Okay. All right. So I have two things. They're very quick.
Chop, chop, Margaret.
Nice. So one of the things is when you're putting in the antifreeze throughout the boat and you're going through the plumbing and flushing the heads and doing the transom shower and maybe the anchor wash down and doing all that, don't forget your windshield wipers.
I knew you were going to say that because you forgot one year.
I did. I forgot and blew those lines out. So.
You shit the bed on that one. Yes, you did.
I did. The other thing, and this is a cool trick. If you have a barometer on your boat, and I happen to have a barometer on my boat.
Shocker.
Came standard. It's standard equipment. A lot of boats have them. And so when you're checking a barometer, always give it a little tap because sometimes the needle gets stuck. So that's very important to give it a little tap so it registers. The other thing is if it's not working properly, there's a way to test it. This is really cool. You have to take it off the wall or wherever it is, and you take a big Ziploc bag, big gallon bag, and you put the barometer inside the bag. Make sure it's got a good pillow of air, seal it up tight, and then you push down on the bag, and it changes the pressure. And if the needle doesn't move, well, then you know you got a problem with your barometer.
It's time to go shopping.
Is that cool?
That is. If you learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a Weems and Path, they have a lifetime guarantee. So mine happens to be with them right now because it wasn't working. So they're fixing it for me right now.
My man sent him out. Shocker.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, we call Captain Buzz is Mr. AB boy. He definitely, I'm telling you, this man he's made me that much of a better boater. I'm a better person because of the man. And he's on me like white on rice. I'm telling you, like he does not. And look, don't let him play it off any innocent that he is. Because you see that innocent face? That's called malarkey right there. See, it's spelled right across the top of his noggin.
But I have to give Pauly some chops because, I got into boating big time. But he showed me how to run my boat, how to start the thing. So, because I had no idea. So, hats off to you, my friend.
I thank you, sir, very much. Well, I'll tell you what, my detailer's briefing is how are you storing your canvas and your isinglass or your Strataglass this upcoming winter? And, our special guest speaker in Kent Island, Mrs. Gayle from Island Yacht Canvas is with All Docked Up tonight. Gayle, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Gayle. Outstanding. Great to have you on board.
I am excited because there are a lot of questions out there that people do things and they believe, well, you know what? I don't use this product. I use this. And I'm like, well, you might want to research that a little bit more. So Gayle's going to set the record straight. And, we're going to talk about some canvas and how to store it. And she's going to give us some feedback on her. So Gayle, you are on the spotlight. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, well, there's not really much to tell.
I beg to differ on that.
I just sew for a living. Or what do? I do arts and crafts and listen to the radio.
Arts and crafts and
listen to the radio for over 30 years. That's basically what we do.
And okay, so how did you tell me about your start in the canvas industry. How many years under your belt do you have?
Over 30. That's all I'm saying there.
She's not dating
if
herself.
I have to do a date, I'd say 88, 89, somewhere around in there.
Wow.
And I actually started as a nanny for a lady who owned a canvas company.
Wait. So you were at a canvas shop
I was being a nanny, and I'd answer the phone and sweep the floor, and I'd cut like fabric strips and things like that. And then another lady there wound up getting pregnant, and she says, well, I'm going to teach you how to sew. So when I go out for my maternity leave, you can help out a little bit more around here. And I said, that's fine, but I'm not going to sew for the rest of my life.
Oh, my goodness. Look at
that. That's awesome.
So, I mean, I love what I do. You do arts and crafts every day. You meet really awesome people. And it's fun, actually. I never have a real bad day at work.
You got to love that.
You're one of those people who doesn't work because you love what you do and it happens to earn you some money.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So you got 30 years in the business. I'm sorry, Captain Buzz, I cut you there. Go for it, buddy.
No. Well, I was gonna say, ask a couple more questions. Where is your business located? And I think, or did you say that already? Ken Island?
Yeah, we're located on Ken Island. We're about a mile from the bridge. And I've been on Ken Island for 20 some years. Working back and forth with people in Annapolis. That's where I started working, worked with some of the best of the best. Some are still with us. Some have already continued on their journey on the other side. So that's kind of sad, but it happens. And raised my kids and worked out of my garage. And that's where I was known as the best kept secret on Ken Island.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So my kids grew up. And I was like, okay, they don't need me right now. I got about 3 to 5 years before they call me again and say, hey, you're a grandma. I need you to babysit.
and you got nanny experience, so
right,
you're all in.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go all in. And I came into the shop and closed up my garage and came into the shop. And I've been running ever since. I haven't stopped.
That is awesome. So when you have grandchildren, sounds like you need to have them in the shop so you can nanny them there and teach them the trade at the same time.
Well, I do have grandnephews, yes. So I've had babies in here before. Right. Yeah, it's nothing about putting a Johnny jump up in the ceiling and a playpen around here.
I grew up next to a dough machine.
See, there you go.
My family restaurant business. Father's an immigrant from overseas in Italy, and my dad was like, nobody's raising my kids but me or my wife. And I grew up next to a dough machine.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they used to bathe you in Cento San Marzano tomatoes?
Well, Cento San Marzano tomatoes are beautiful. I mean, I got olive oil running through these veins, baby.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But so Gayle, we're putting the boats to bed. It's the end of the season.
Okay.
Everyone's taking their canvas down. I need you to tell us and tell our listeners, how are you putting your canvas away? What is the best way to store it? Where to store it? How to store it? Give us the rundown on storage for the wintertime.
Okay, so I always tell my clients to go ahead and lay everything flat in a spare bedroom underneath of the bed. Put flannel sheets or some type of old sheets in between each panel.
So you're not having scratching and abrasion.
Right, exactly. And keep it in a controlled temperature environment. It'll last a lot longer. You don't want to keep it on the boat because you have that cold crack. So
you use that word cold crack. So that's an industry term. Elaborate a little bit more on what a cold crack is.
A cold crack is a certain temperature where the material can actually crack.
on its own, whether you touch it or not.
Sometimes, yeah, or the wind will hit it, or you go to move it and it will just crack.
And what temperature is that?
It's usually pretty cold, like a -15.
Oh, wow.
However, it can get pretty cold out there. And even if you try and move it, or you try and put it up in the wintertime, it's gonna crack.
Okay, and the year and the age of the canvas, the age of the isinglass or strataglass, and all of that plays a very big role in when cold cracks do end up happening.
Yeah, and how well you take care of it. And that's it's like maintenance. You oil your car. You do the maintenance. I mean, we do it with our bodies. You have to do the maintenance with your materials to make it last.
So what kind of product? And me and Captain Buzz, we've done this over and over and over again. And as a professional detailer, I see people putting products on their glass that is comical. I mean, and
Yeah.
it is comical.
Yeah.
So you know what, Captain Buzz? Gayle told me a story today. I want you to tell our viewers and listeners what the story you told me about today.
So I had a client who argued with me the whole time while I was standing there. He was using Lemon Pledge on his 40 gauge Strataglass.
What is the deal with Lemon Pledge?
And
I've heard this before.
Yeah. So
I've seen it turn it yellow too. It's nasty.
It's furniture polish, number one. Number two, lemon is acid. Also, back in the day, remember Lemon Joy? Remember our moms used Lemon Joy on everything? I don't even know where it is nowadays, if it's still around. But the people would use that on their materials as well. And they'd use Lemon Joy. It's got acid in it. Acid eats away anything lemon or orange or pine, whatever.
It's very acidic, so naturally.
It's got acid in it,
right.
Yeah.
It's like having agita, Buzzy, you know what I mean? You have too much marinara sauce, it's very acidic, you get the agita.
Right.
So I have a question. So I'm going to take my canvas off the boat, right? And I normally do, but I have to. It needs to be cleaned. So should I do that before I put it away? And I think I know the answer to that. And second, I'm going to have to treat it with a waterproofing, and I should probably wait until the spring to do that.
So here's the thing with the waterproofing. Not all materials need to be waterproofed. It depends on what you have. Now, if you take Sunbrella, I can use that word, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you take Sunbrella, it's been around since the 30s. It's out there all the time. It's number one on the market, and everybody who owns a boat knows what Sunbrella is. You take that, that silicone will wear off after about 5 years, depending on if you don't have an issue with seagulls, if you don't have an issue with animals getting into your boat, or you're not keeping your boat on a trailer underneath of a tree that has berries on it. So you just kind of take that off. You want to take a brush, a soft boat brush. We all have soft boat brushes on our boats. You take that. I always tell my clients to go ahead and get as much off of that while it's on the frame. Then, because it's nice and tight, because that's what it's supposed to do. So you just brush off all the loose dirt. Then you can go ahead and hose it down on your deck. Throw it over your picnic table or your railing and spray it down while it's damp and let the sun beat down on it for a couple of hours.
No, that's just pieces of actual canvas, nothing with any type of glass integrated into that canvas.
You can do the edges, like the picture frame around the isinglass.
Okay.
You can take a small scrub brush with that as well, or a boat brush, not a scrub brush, and you can go ahead and do that. Most of the time, though, that material is incorporated with the glass. And because the way it's vertical, not horizontal like your Bimini, it doesn't collect as much dirt or berry stains or anything like that. But it can get dirty. So you just do that with soap and water. Just use regular soap, like a mild soap, like an Ivory, something. They have clear soap now, or the white soaps. That's all you need.
You need a very gentle soap to be able to wash down. Not a heavy detergent.
Yeah. And then you can just use your regular squirter on your hose and just hose it off until you know all of it's, off. And then you just hang it up until it gets a little damp. And then you take your silicone water repellent and you spray it back on the outside of the bimini.
But just to make sure everybody who's listening, that if that silicone-based waterproofing product, you better have a face mask on, because I had a customer who was waterproofing their top and they were inhaling it and it actually sealed his bronchioles closed.
Okay.
And he dropped right on the actual dock.
Okay.
Ambulance and all. So face, make sure your eyes are protected, your face is
always
protected.
Yeah, safety first.
Safety first when you are applying any type of material that's a chemical onto your boat. Safety, first
Great
and foremost,
advice.
every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. People are literally out there spraying. And guys, remember this. And Gayle, you can help me out with this. That waterproofing, once it actually hits the actual outside air and it sticks to something, it will stick to just about anything that it comes in contact with.
Absolutely.
So it's an overspray situation with another person's
slip.
boat.
Yeah, well, and you can slip.
That
even
too.
if you have like the tech decks, if it's not real wood or anything like that. Yeah, you can definitely slip and hurt yourself.
But I've seen people spraying. They're in their slip at the marina and they're waterproofing their bimini top. The wind is blowing, 5+ miles an hour. And I said, guys, you might want to look out for the canvas that's right next door to you, or the isinglass that is getting coated on. And it's going to hit that and dry, and it's not coming off.
Well, yeah, and it's going to get on your boat, and you're going to slip, and you're going to hit your head and fall in the water. But that's why I tell everybody to put it on their deck.
Yes, put it in a that's safe.
Just take it away. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good project for me this winter, as long as it's warm enough and I can get it all washed up, which I will definitely do. I know there's going to be some warm days I can get this done. It's because I definitely have to re-waterproof. Now, let me ask you a little bit more about Island Yacht Canvas, because how far do you go and how many employees do you have with your business?
So I go about 2 hours in every direction. So like Middle River, Solomon's Island, Ocean City. I have been known to go down a little bit farther down Cape Charles. But those are select few. And then I have 2 employees and a few subcontractors that work
fantastic.
For me. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. That's great. That's a lot of coverage area for the folks that have downloaded our app and need to have some canvas work done. That's terrific.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Getting back to putting the canvas to bed at the end of the season, at your house on a flat surface, what products are you recommending to your customers to physically use on the glass? What are they cleaning it with? How do they apply it? How do they take it off? Or, what should they be using?
Okay, so basically when it comes to glass, I always use Strataglass, and I always have my clients use Strataglass, and they actually have it's an IMAR product specifically for Strataglass. So you have a cleaner with that, and then you have a polish with that. So I give them to my clients when they walk out the door. I'm like, here, use this. When you need more, give me a call. And, Amazon carries it too. I hate saying that, but sorry if I wasn't allowed to. But,
right.
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
Fine.
I mean, I know a lot of my customers, I see them using C210 and Plexus.
210's not a bad product. 210's not a bad product.
I've used the 210 multiple times. I'm not the Plexus. I was never a really, really big fan of.
I've never used it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was not that much of a big fan with.
But basically, soap and water will do the trick. And
but for preserving and polishing and all that.
Yeah, you're not going to have to clean and polish your isinglass if you take care of it. Again, it's all about the maintenance. So you come in, if you're hot and sweaty and you've been in the river all day, you take a shower. Well, spray down your isinglass too with some soap and water. It deserves it. Mm-hmm. It's keeping you shielded and warm and cool or out of the elements. So take care of it.
And here at Island Canvas, all the years that you've been doing this, you guys also do upholstery seats.
Yes.
But also, Captain Buzz, another thing that's really cool is that she has custom bags that she makes as well. Like the canvas boating bags, like the one that you and Jennifer bought me for a gift.
Oh, yeah.
So she also does them in-house. and her new state-of-the-art CNC cutting machine that she was using. And she did a demonstration for me earlier that she was cutting out the prints and everything else, and 3-4 cuts of fabric at the same time. So Island Yacht Canvas in Kent Island has stepped up to the 21st century, and she's got some heavy pieces of equipment here to be as productive as she can be throughout the course of the day. This machine is badass, Buzz. You got to see this thing.
And it's made in Maryland.
Yeah. And it's made in Maryland.
Made in USA.
How about that?
No, not the machine's not made in Maryland. I don't know where that is, but my bags are. So yeah. So, and the first thing people do ask when they come in, they're like, "Oh, we love your bags," because I have the little, my little showroom up there, and they're like, "Oh, do you make these?" I'm like, "Absolutely, right here." Yeah.
And do you embroider them somehow?
I do not embroider them. So basically, it's good old cotton duck canvas. Cotton duck canvas. Our grandparents used cotton duck canvas in the service. It is timeless. First of all, it's machine washable. Women love that. And then it's all marine grade products. But the really cool thing about the bags is that you can send me a picture of anything and we can print it on the bag.
Wow. Hey,
yes.
We need some all docked up bags.
There you go.
I'm already on top of it. See, see what I mean? I'm telling you, I know what this man's going to say before he says it. That's a lot of years of spending time together. You son of a bitch.
So when a customer reaches out to you, what are the things that they're what's the first thing they say to you? What are they asking?
What are the questions they're asking?
Yeah. So lately, this past year, because I think everybody understands with this boating boom, this craziness that's been happening the last year and a half, is, are we available to do it? Number one, because people pretty much know in the industry that, we're really backlogged. That's the main question. And then how much, of course. Yeah. How much is this going to cost? And, what type of materials are the best to use for whatever that they want done, whether it's down below using, materials down below for the seating down there, as opposed to, vinyl outside. So it's just basically those three questions really are the main questions that we have.
So I have a question that I'd like to ask. So with all your years of experience, what can we do? So our main goal here on All Docked Up and our podcast, All Things Boating with Pauly and Captain Buzz, is that we do everything we can to educate a boater. The better the educated the boater is, the better off that they are to get their services that they need done, because they're less of a liability out there in the actual market. So if you could help a boater, somebody right now who's listening, and they're like, I want to get canvas done, but I don't know who to go to, and I'm nowhere near you, Gayle, to get my canvas done. Is there something that you can share with the listeners that say, guys, if you go to a canvas company, beware of this? You know what I mean? Is there anything that you could share that we can help educate a boater not go with the fly-by-night operation? Is there something that, you could help educate us on that?
Well, I'm not going to necessarily cut down the fly-by-nighters because they're really not a fly-by-nighter. I worked out of my garage for 20 years. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there were people that would snub down their nose on that because I was working out of the back of my garage. Mm-hmm. And then there were some people that were like, hey, I know where you live.
Wow. Okay.
So they like the idea that they're coming in my backyard. And
not when I say fly-by-nighters, people that are doing work that are taking advantage of the boating boom, may not necessarily be here 5 years down the road, but what to look after. Are there any telltale signs that somebody should look at, or when it comes to, getting canvas from a company or isinglass or any type of canvas work done from someone they've never done business before?
Well, I guess it would be, check their website out.
Okay.
Talk to the people up and down the pier.
That's
hey,
good. Yeah.
Get your local recommendation.
Well, hey, I like your canvas. Where'd you get it done?
Sure.
I like your upholstery. Where do you get it done? Well, did you like that person? Ask them questions. If that person's no longer in business anymore, say, well, go to the next person and ask them. But just like with anything else, you're going to do your research. So just, as a person, just because somebody's on Ken Island and I'm here doesn't necessarily mean that they should come to me and get their canvas work. And the only reason I'm saying that is because we all have our niches.
Okay.
Okay.
I am not I do not do a good dodger on sailboats.
Okay.
I really don't. And I know that.
See, I love the honesty, Captain Buzz.
Absolutely.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love this.
Yeah, so I will refer them out to some guys that I used to work for over in Eastport. I'm like, go there. They do great work.
Okay.
I know their work. They do great work. They'll take care of you. So sometimes you will get I don't know, I guess people like me that will be like, hey, go to this person or go to that person. But you just kind of want to, somebody's really working out of a back of their car. I probably question it. Unless it was really set up, unless you could really see it.
Right.
I always opened up my door. I never, because I knew the stigma sometimes of just getting started or being in the position with me. I was able to stay at home and raise my children.
That was great.
Yeah, it was. I was very lucky. So, having that, I always was like, yeah, hey, I'm just here to tell you now, I work in my backyard. Let me move my kid's bicycle so you can get your boat in.
I have another question in the same realm that, what about a boater, like when a boater comes to you, first of all, they ask those questions. What questions do you ask them? Should they be armed with knowing what kind of boat they have, what kind of canvas package they have, what kind of color they want? Do they need to bring samples? Or do you need to go to the boat, or they need to bring the boat to you to have the work done?
Okay, so most of the time nowadays, it just kind of cuts down. I'm not going to go and do an estimate in Solomon's Island drive 4 hours because it's 2 hours in one way, so on and so forth. I'll just tell them to send me pictures of their boat. A bimini is a bimini. It doesn't matter what boat it's on. I just need to know if it's attached to a radar arch, what's the length and the width. But then again, like a Sea Ray is a Sea Ray. I know a Sea Ray. I know the setup. I know how many panels. I've been doing it long enough. So some boats I do know. So other boats I do not know. And that's, like if they say, I want a winged enclosure on a 23-foot sea hunt. Okay, well, I kind of know what that's about.
Are there preset templates that canvas companies have access to based off of the model of the boat that they can actually I've had customers that send away to Michigan, to get canvas done, and I'm like, really? And that the manufacturer wanted to know the year, model, make, and the whole identification number, and they were able to build their canvas off of factory schematics or
yeah, that's a Boat Tops or something like that out in the Midwest. I think that's where that company is. I don't know how they really work, but you can do that. Now, I asked for all of that only because I'm starting to flow into upgrading with the Proton ProLiner and the digitizing. So that way, the next when somebody calls me and says, I have a 2010 Sea Ray Sundancer Express or whatever, this is what I want. Okay. 2 years from now, I can look in my computer program if somebody calls with that boat, and I already have that information.
Right. And
so you can build your files. Nice. Now, everybody has been doing that. Everywhere I worked for 30 years, everybody saved their patterns. And of course, back in the day, it was a plastic pattern. I worked with this one sail loft, fantastic man. He's passed on since then. But he would say, okay, this is the boat. And we'd have the boat. We'd go down underneath the table. We'd pull out the pattern. We would do 6-7 boats a year out of that.
That's incredible.
Because we had the patterns. But now with the times, now everything's all digitized.
Okay.
And in a computer, you don't actually have the like in that back room back there, I've got patterns, and they're labeled with year, make, model, and boats and things like that. Yeah.
So that's able to cut down on some time.
So we're getting close to the end. So I have one final question for you. What's the craziest thing someone's asked you to do?
Seriously.
Oh boy. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta hear.
Okay. So I had a client come in and he wanted some bougie covers, is what he said. I said, okay, well, you need to bring the flag and, all that kind of stuff. You need to bring all that in because I need to make sure that they're right. He's like, no, you just need to make them like this. And I was like, no, I need to have something to make it specific. So he kind of looks down at the ground and then he looks up at me and I'm kind of looking at him. And then he goes, well, and he's a captain. He has a charter boat. He takes out this sorority sisters every year that he's been doing for years, like years. He's been doing this with the same group of ladies. Well, they turned out to be vibrator covers. So I was like, okay. So I was like, well, why don't you just go to Victoria's Secret, get a nice little cute little bag. Oh my God,
just when I thought I heard it all.
And he was like, no, it has to be the same color as my canvas on my boat. Duh.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
That is the greatest thing I have ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, just when I thought. Captain
You're
Buzz,
right.
I've never. Wow.
That's great. That is great.
You gotta love boating.
Awesome.
And I'll tell everybody, listeners, everybody who's listening to the the podcast, All Things Boating with Pauly and Captain Buzz, make sure, do me a favor, send me in emails to stuff that you want to hear. That's number one, the topics that you want to hear. Number two, send us a review on the podcast and post a review. And especially when you're downloading the app, for the All Docked Up app, whether it's an iOS or an Android, please do me a favor. Captain Buzz and Pauly are asking, please rate the app on the Play Store that you're downloading it from.
Yeah, really important for us. It's an important matrix for us, and we would really appreciate that if you could do that for us. Thank you.
Everybody who's listening, Pauly is on your ass like white on rice. Don't forget to do the review. Or Pauly's going to come to a vessel near you.
Well, Gayle, thank you so much for hanging with Pauly and Captain Buzz here for 30 minutes and telling your story. A wonderful business. I'm going to give you some business because I need some work done. So I look forward to working with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I had fun.
Keep up the great work. Paolo, that's Captain Buzz standing by on 6-8.
Captain Buzzword, this is Pauly from All Docked Up, standing by on 6-8. My good man, everybody have a great night.